Happy Friday, everybody. Sam Tolbowski here, back for another Motion.io live stream. I'll give us a couple minutes for folks to file in, but in the meantime, tell you a little bit about these live streams and what we do here. So every week, I go live across Motion.io's LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages to talk about new product updates. Sometimes we do things like most commonly asked questions, but regardless of what we're covering along the way, I always give the opportunity and invite everyone who is watching to leave your comments and leave your questions. I do respond to everything here live. If you tuned into one of these before, you know that you ask a question, you comment in, it will get answered during the course of this, our live stream. So with that, would love everybody, if you want to tell me where you're tuning in from today. I'm joining you here from our office in Louisville, Colorado. I'll just put something in the chat. Hey, everybody. And feel free as we go through the content of this webinar, write in with your questions, whether you're commenting on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I will see those. I will respond to them in real time. So this was a cool week for our team at Motion.io. Another really solid week of updates. If you didn't know already, we ship an update virtually every single week. Sometimes we miss things for if there's a major holiday or something, but 95% of the time we're shipping an update every single week. And we keep you updated with these on our Motion.io changelog. And that's what I like to do at the start of every one of these webinars is let's go ahead, let's visit Motion.io's changelog, and let's go over the things that we have released in this past week. I'll also talk about a couple of features that we released the week before, just because they are especially cool in case you missed our live stream last week, or maybe you just found out about Motion.io this week. Maybe you're just signing up for the first time and exploring the platform and wanted to tune in and see what it's all about. So with that, let me go ahead and dive in here. Let me just pull up this changelog here. So cool. So for the week of July 16th, which is this week, one of the coolest things that we have released with this update is new productivity reporting. And this is a feature that I'm really, really excited about. I'll show you exactly what this does in a little bit and what it looks like. But for some inspiration about why we built it, we really wanted to give teams a way to, not only assess how their team is doing and the performance of their team, the emails that they're eliminating, the hours that they're saving, but also understand where's Motion.io making an impact. So that's really the focus of this feature, and I will show you how that works in a little bit. Also, I see that Todd wrote in from Goodyear, Arizona. Todd, thanks for joining us today. Happy to have you with us. Moving down the list here of our change log, the next thing that we released, which is another big update for us, is single-use contracts. So if you aren't familiar with the way that contracts worked in Motion.io previously, what you would have to do is you have to go into the contracts tab in your sidebar, upload a contract file, so a PDF or image file. And hello, and Jeanette in the chat, very happy to have you with us as well. And with those contracts, they were mapped to fields, and they were really designed to be able to use as templates. So recurring contracts that, nothing would change from person to person with them, aside from the actual information that they were entering. With this change, you can now create single-use contracts on the fly, which is something that we have gotten a lot of requests from folks over the past few months. I'll show you how they work and highlight some use cases and where you would maybe want to use single-use contracts in a little bit. But that's another thing that we released in this update. So a really nice quality of life change for us, something that's really going to help streamline your workflows. Moving down, I will just go through some of these bug fixes real quick. Every single week, in case you didn't know this already, we are, yes, releasing new features, but we are fixing bugs as well across the platform. So anytime you write in with a bug that we identify and we say, hey, there's going to be a fix for this, you've probably gotten an email from us letting you know it's fixed. But there's way more things, way more bug fixes and improvements that are just really smaller things that don't make the headlines outside of these. But we do in our changelog try and highlight some of the big things that people have reported. So this week that includes a issue with the scrolling on the project progress tracker. We fixed that. It wasn't affecting everybody, but it was affecting a number of portals. So that's been resolved. We also fixed an issue where tasks not assigned to a stage could not be saved. So you'll find that if you're in the board view now, which is the only place this was happening, your tasks will save successfully, even if they don't have a stage listed. And also, hello, Jason. Thanks for tuning in with us today. Love to see all of these people showing up on their Friday. Means a lot to me, and it's the perfect end to my week. So talking about Motion.io and helping you all out. So I did say I was going to briefly touch on what we released the week before as well, just in case you missed it. Because one of the big things that we released is a pretty game-changing new piece of functionality for us. And that is the ability to embed portal forms or to embed forms in the project tabs of your Motion.io portals. And what makes this functionality so cool is that it enables you to do all kinds of things and really offer productized services for your clients. Yes. So basically a client can submit a work order form. Motion.io will create a task automatically, but you can also use them for things like a help desk or a way to request changes on something like a website or graphic design piece that you're working on for clients, or anything else you might be doing with clients where you want to give them the ability to request a change or request that you do something at any time. That's the type of thing that you're going to use portal forms for. So we'll show you those later in this webinar just because we did highlight them last week. But did want to just mention that in case any of you folks missed out on our live stream last week, but are tuning into this one. We've also revamped the activity feed for tasks. This is another really, really nice quality of life change for us because previously within the task activity feed, it just showed, or it wasn't even an activity feed really, it was just a feed of comments. What we've done is for each and every individual task now, you can see not only comments and messages related to that task, but you're also able to see things like, hey, who was added to the task and when? When was the task activated? When was the task completed? All of those things now show up at the individual level within the task sidebar. So I will also show you what that looks like here in a little bit. But scrolling back up to the top here, I'm going to pop into my Motion.io account and let's go ahead and show you what our new productivity reporting dashboard looks like. So I am here in my Motion.io account. You see I have a couple of projects running. And if I click into the reporting tab, what you will notice here is that Motion.io automatically pulls a bunch of helpful metrics that can help me assess the impact Motion.io is making, as well as get a pretty clear breakdown of the performance of individual team members and insights about them within my account. One thing to note about this reporting tab is this is going to be only available to folks on our scale plan. If you're on one of our other plans, what you'll see here is like just a little notice that says you have to upgrade. And the reason for this is it's really powerful, but it's also something that we've found is especially helpful for larger teams. If it's just you working in Motion.io, maybe that isn't important to you, but we've found that specifically if you have 3, 4, 5, 6, even 10 or 20 team members, this information is really, really helpful at the executive level. So what you'll see in the reporting dashboard is up in the upper right-hand corner, you do have the ability to filter this between different time ranges. So by default, it does start at 30 days, but you can go to 7 days all the way up to 365 days or all time. And the all time is where things, at least in my account here, start to get pretty impressive because you can see not only this breakdown of the individual team members in my account, how many tasks they've completed, the things such as automations and emails eliminated, but in this top level view, you have this, it combines all of the data across your account, across your team members. And one of my favorite metrics to look at here is money saved. if you click on or hover over any of these metrics, so the text on top of the numbers here, it'll give you a little bit more information about how this information is calculated. So for the hours saved, this is calculated basically by billing a standard rate of $60 an hour. We're going to be offering more flexibility and functionality with this reporting tab in the future. There's things that we're likely to add, and if there is, like, let us know. Write in if there's additional information that would be helpful to show here, if there are new ways you want to kind of parse the data in there. But we're really, really happy to launch this feature. And it's really cool because it requires no setup. You literally just click into the reporting tab, and then all of these metrics are pulled for you automatically. So let me know if you have any questions at all about this, if there's things that you'd like to add, as well if there's just any other questions you have about Motion.io as we are going through the updates today. Happy to answer anything about a area of Motion.io you might be getting stuck on, something you want to further automate, so just let me know. With that, I want to go ahead and jump into our next update that we released this week, which is our single-use contracts functionality. So I had mentioned this a little bit when we were looking at the change log earlier. But previously in Motion.io, the only way to create contracts was you'd go here to the Contracts tab. You'd click Create Contract Template, drag your contract over to this or to this upload box. And let me get myself a contract template here really quickly. And then map the fields of it accordingly. So I'm going to show you now why single-use contracts are so beneficial by actually demoing for you how it works. And like I said, just one second, I just got to download. I thought I had done this before. I must have removed it from my desktop. You know how things get. I was just like clearing up some files and accidentally deleted one of the ones that I needed for this stream today, but all good. It'll just take 1 second here to download this. It's always the fun part of doing these things live. It's really requires a lot of like real-time coordination. And sometimes there's things that I was like, oh, didn't set that up, but it's okay because we can always resolve it really quickly. So I'm back here in my Motion.io account, and let me go ahead and show you what it looks like, the standard process. So you'd click Create Contract. You would drag your contract template into the upload window. And then you would edit the fields for this. You could add things like, a text field for business addresses, a date field, yada, yada, signature fields. And then you would save this as a contract template that you could then attach to tasks. Now, with single-use contracts, you don't have to set these up ahead of time. What you can do is you can go into any project and then on the fly, actually, let me just create a new project here to show you this. And I'm going to create a new template, actually, because this is something that I showed last week. It's really cool how quickly you can create new project templates in Motion.io using our AI builder. So I'm actually just going to show you that real quick. And I have a handy dandy little prompt here that I can just go ahead and paste into this. So I'll just let the AI task builder think for a second. And what we're going to do here now is I'm just going to build out the foundation of a new template aligned with my workflow. It'll include a couple of different stages. But then what I'll do is I'm going to actually add a single-use contract to this template because that's what we're talking about. And if you haven't tried out this functionality, I highly recommend testing it out. This AI task builder, really cool. All you have to do to access it is just create a new project or template from scratch. And you'll see the prompt up here where it says try it now. And then you just enter your information about your workflow. So cool. The AI task builder did a great job here. All of my stages are set up. But I do see that there is a contract and scope agreements task here. And what I'm going to do is this is going to be a specific contract for this specific person. So what I'll do is let me quickly create a project from this template. I'm going to call this single use contract, just to remind us why we are creating this new project in the first place. And what I'm going to do is I am going to come in here, click the contracts button, and whoops, got to invite a client to this here. I'm also going to add a simulated client to this and assign them to some tasks. And then back in the task builder here, what I'll do is click the contracts button. And just 1 second. I will go ahead and, whoopsies, sorry. I'm going to click create single use contract. So this works in a very similar manner as to how our, the process for creating a contract template works. The difference though is that this contract is just going to be for this one client, and I don't have to use a template. So I want to talk about like the different use cases for single use contracts. Oftentimes it's going to be things that, if you have a contract that really changes a lot from person to person, using a single use contract is going to be your best bet for that. So what I'll do now that I've uploaded my contract here, I'll actually just call this, John's contract, just to make it clear to myself that this is a contract that is specific to John. And then I'm going to come in here as I would with any other type of contract and just go ahead and map the fields of this contract. So I'll enter a text field for the client's business address as well as their name. I'll go ahead and add a date field. And then I'll also add a number of fields here at the bottom now. So this will be for our team to sign. By the way that you set like different signees, you'll notice that here, my business, Gusto Growth, I don't want to assign this to the client. So what I'll do is quickly add a new placeholder, and I'll just call this team. And any fields that I add here are going to be indicated to the team to fill out. So my team is going to fill those out instead of the client. So I'll do this with a signature field as well. And you can resize these boxes just by shrinking them. So like grabbing either of the corner or the sides. So I'll do that, add a date field, and then I'll just repeat this process with the client. But I will change the placeholder. So the person that's going to be assigned to complete this, I'll change that to client. Same with this field. One of the great things about building and the way that our sort of mapping the fields process works within the contract builder is you are able to, like, if you have a placeholder selected, any additional fields you grab after that are going to be automatically mapped to that specific person. So in this case, I want to do like the business fields all at once and then the client fields all at once. Just makes it a little bit quicker. Nice little tip for your workflow there. So cool. I've added everything that I need. This is, let me actually add just some labels to this just to make it clear to the client what information they are entering. So I'll say, enter your address. Type your name. And let me expand this one a little bit. Cool. And this looks good to go. So there's no save. This auto saves automatically in the editor itself. And now all I have to do is back here in the task composer, click save, and we are good to go. So what I can do from here, I've created that contract. I will just assign this now to my AI client that I added to the project. I'll assign them to the client fields, and then I'll assign myself to the team fields. And I can go ahead, save this task. And what we will do now is activate all of these tasks and have the AI client run through it. So let's see, and I love testing things like this, by the way, with our AI clients. If you're not familiar with that, all you have to do is go into a project, and from the dropdown, if it's the first client you're adding to the project, you'll have the option for an AI client, which you can add to test your workflows. So let me go ahead and see what the AI said about this contract that I created. Oh, sweet. So it looks like they were actually able to complete this. And this is good to go. I can see their signature right here. I can also, now that the AI client has completed this, fill it out on my end. So that's super quick. All I have to do is just go click to start. Great. Type my name, Sam Chlebowski, enter my signature. Easy, easy. Great. And that contract is completed. So that's a really nice overview of creating a of how you can basically streamline your contract creation for one-off agreements in Motion.io with our new single-use contracts feature. And I see we have a question from Highliner Consulting Group. Thanks for the questions. Yes, we record every single one of these videos. They go up immediately after the webinar, and they can be, or sorry, after we stop recording, and you'll be able to find those on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So really all you have to do is just follow any of those accounts. And the second that this live stream ends, you'll have access to the recording directly on any of those channels. I typically steer folks towards YouTube, and I will include a link to our channel here in the comments so you can have that. Just give me 1 second here. .io, YouTube. I'll just pull a link to our channel here and plug it into the chat for you all so you can go ahead and subscribe to us and get access to these at any time. Also immediately as soon as they were done recording that day. So here's a link to our YouTube channel where you can find that information. Thanks so much for asking, Highliner Consulting Group. So we've talked a little bit about our single-use contracts, that new feature we just shipped this week where you can create basically one-off contracts that you can send if there's a lot that changes between the different types of contracts you're sending. But I will say that Motion.io does feature some really nice functionality for your contracts if it's not the fields within a contract changing, but it's just the client information that's changing. Because within Motion.io, we do give you a way to populate custom field data in your contracts automatically. So if that's confusing, a very simple example of this is like in every client contract, let's say you want to have you need to have the client's business address, right? But you don't want the client to enter that information manually, and you also don't want to have to adjust your contract each time with that information. Something like that is really easy to auto-populate in a contract template using custom fields. And this is kind of the top of my mind just because I just released a video about this earlier this week. But I did just want to show you all for context, just because it can be something that's really useful and might make you want to reconsider whether or not a specific project requires a one-off contract, or if that's something you can do with one of our contract templates. Very use case. So I'm going to pop back into my account here and just quickly show you how this works. So I'll go ahead, upload a contract once again. This time I'll do it in my templates library. So that means that this is going to be reusable across all of my projects and templates. So I'm going to call this just contract with custom field, just to make it clear what we're looking at here. And I'm not going to go through the entire setup process, but let's say, I already have my client's address and their business address, they enter that information in an onboarding form. I don't want them to have to answer that again, but I also don't want to enter it manually into my contract each time. A very simple way to do that is all you have to do is drag a text field into your contract. And just to make it clear what this is going to populate with, I'm going to call this client business address. And now comes the really cool part, because what I will do is I'm going to grab, and I'll just share my other tab here. From my account settings, I'm going to grab one of these custom fields that I created, which is my business address custom field. And I have this field set up so in every single project, when a client submits their onboarding form, which asks for this information, it will automatically populate the value of this custom field. So I'll copy this and return to my contract. And the way that you populate client information like this, that you've set up custom fields for, is all you have to do is paste that custom field that you copied right into the field that you added. And great, now every time I send off this contract, it will automatically populate with that information. Clients don't have to enter it manually. Our team doesn't have to run around customizing various things in each contract, and it can really streamline the entire process. One other note too is you can do this in one-off contracts as well. It's a little bit more useful if you're using a contract template again and again, but you do have the ability to populate information from custom fields and single-use contracts as well. And just to give you a heads up too, we do have information about this whenever you're creating a contract. So this information up at the top, these instructions tabs, if I moved a little bit too fast, don't worry, or don't worry even about remembering any of this, because we do have sticky instructions here at the top of the contract creator. So with that, I would love to know, for all of you watching here in the audience, what other questions do you have? Is there anything that I can help out with? Is there anything else that you would like to know about how Motion.io works, ways to further streamline, automate your workflows? Let me know. One of the things that I did mention here that I was going to cover today, which was something that included in our previous release. So this was from last week's product update we made. But that was, I'm sorry, just trying to find my right screen here. That was the ability to add forms to portal tabs. And what I had mentioned earlier on at the start of this webinar is this was going to be something that's really useful if you offer additional services or hours, or a way to, or need a way for clients to submit things like support requests and information. And this is a really streamlined way to do so, because what happens is when a client submits a form, that form will automatically get filled out, or that form will automatically create a task in your Motion.io project. So let me go ahead and show you how to do this. I'm going to come into one of my Motion.io project templates, because this is going to be generally where I would suggest you add your forms to portal pages, because anytime you create a project from one of your templates, what it does is automatically pull in all of the customizations, all of the tasks, and everything that you need for these types of projects you're running. So we'll just go ahead, and I've already showed you how to create a template using our AI task builder. So I'm just going to go back into that project, and we can see here all of my tasks, all of my stages are created. But what I haven't done within this template is navigate into the portal tab and make some customizations here. So these tabs you see at the top, these are the default options whenever you create a new template from scratch. It's just a welcome page. This welcome page can be fully edited and deleted. And the other default portal tab is going to be the tasks page, which this can be toggled off so it's not viewable, but you're unable to delete it just because it is a pretty important aspect of your Motion.io portals. And if you would fully delete it, clients would never be able to access the tasks you assign. So, but you can change the name as well as you can change the icon of this tasks tab. What you can also do, and I imagine that many of you watching this know this already, but you can add new custom portal tabs of your own. And these are completely customizable. You can add information to the content section here. You can even embed other apps within your portal tabs. And this can be really helpful for things like calendar links. You can even embed, Google Docs or spreadsheets, even a Google Drive file. We have a way to, or a Google Drive folder, we have a way to embed right here. But what we also have now with our update last week is the ability to add a form to your portal tabs. So for this example, I'm going to call this service requests. And I'm going to attach a form to this that basically asks customers, hey, we have these additional services that you can purchase. If you want them, go ahead, provide a little bit more information and submit the form. I'm going to leave the content section here blank, as well as the app embed code. I'm going to leave this blank. I can combine these things with a form embed if I wanted to. But in this case, I want the purpose of this tab to be solely focused on making it easy for my clients to submit requests for new work. So down here in the form embed section, you'll notice that I'm first asked what form I want to use for this embed. I already have a form created for this. I actually used our AI builder to create this in the last live stream I did. So I know that this is already pretty well set and good to go. So I will add that. Next, I'm going to select the team member I want to assign the tasks to. So this is a pretty important step within your form embed option, because what this form, as just a reminder, is going to do is every time it's filled out, it's going to add those details to a task and assign it to a specific team member. So I selected myself in this case. I can also select a stage for this task. And what you may have noticed is that in the project template that I used our AI task builder to create, I added this ongoing maintenance and site updates project stage, but I intentionally left it blank because I knew that for these types of projects, I wanted some stage that I could send any of these additional requests that clients submit directly to and kind of break those out from the rest of the steps in the client's project, things like onboarding, design, and launch. Nope, I want this stage and any task created there to be separate once most of the work has wrapped up and we're kind of in the ongoing maintenance stage of their website, because the template I created was just something kind of general, like marketing focused, a web design project that after the client's website is built, we offer them ongoing support. So finally, down here at the bottom, I'm going to click Enable Form, because this is what is going to give the client access to it. And I'm also just going to change the icon here quick. I'll use this one, kind of just a little person with a check mark next to it. And great. You'll see that I've been asked if I'd like to apply this change to all active projects created from this template. This is a cool feature and one that I don't know if I've covered in one of our live streams in some time. What you're seeing here is our global template updates modal. And what this allows you to do is whenever you add a new task, a new stage, a new portal page to one of your templates, if there are projects that you previously created from that template, you can click yes here, which is automatically going to apply that change to all active projects created from it. So I'll click yes there. And because I clicked yes, what you'll see when I go back into projects, this was that project that I created from the template earlier. And I'll actually change the name. Example project from template, just to make it clear for you all watching. But what I can see here is if I impersonate this client, so I'm going to copy their magic link and open this up into an incognito tab to impersonate them and get a view of like exactly what they'll see. Because I clicked yes on that global template update modal, the service request form that I added will be available to this client. So, and you can see that right here. And I must have forgotten to click save on the template I was creating. My apologies there. So I'll just quickly update this information exactly how it was. Save that change. And let me go back in here and just share my screen again. Whoops. Sweet. Okay, so cool. Now we can see from the view of that AI client that I added, I click into the service requests tab, and here the client can very quickly fill this out. So for this client, I'm just going to say that, hey, I want some additional content writing. Here are details about what I want you to create. And I'll attach a file just to show you how that works as well. And then as the client, I'll go ahead and click submit on this form. And great, I can see it right here that the client gets immediate confirmation that the task has been created for their team to complete. And they can even, if they wanted to, submit an additional request here. So if they wanted also landing page design in addition to the content writing we're doing for them, they could go ahead and just resubmit that, fill that out, and it'll create an additional task. And then also in the client's view, under the ongoing maintenance and site update stage, they can see that this task is now active, and it's automatically pulled in the details about that task. And then if the client wanted, to check in on it, or they wanted to provide some information, they could say, they're able to mention me and say, hey, Sam, I have additional context for this request, and then just enter their information. So I would see this and I can respond. The benefit of this is that when clients request something, you're able to go back and forth with them. They're able to check in, and they automatically get updated about the status of this task as you go through your process. So to quickly show you what this is going to look like on the admin side of Motion.io, it looks very similar, but I'm back here in that example project where my client submitted their request. And you can see here that this task was automatically created for me. I can very easily download the file they attached. I can access the details they entered here, as well as I can respond to the client. And in this case, I'll just say, great, thanks, we are on it. So there's all types of things that you can use this functionality for. And it is, not limited to just requests for additional services. If I wanted to, I could even add an additional tab to my project here, to my template. And let's say I wanted to offer a, technical support form. I'll just create a new page, and then once again, come down to the form embed. And I already have this help desk style form created, so I'll attach it. I could even assign this to a different team member if I wanted to, if there's someone specific for this type of project. I wanted to work on technical support requests. And let's say actually that I wanted to, one second here. I'm going to change the icon for this. If I wanted to, I could even create a standalone project stage called support requests and send any tasks task created from that form I'm adding to the portal to it. So I'll go back here. I'll select this help desk form. I'll select myself, and I'll select that new support request stage that I just added. Click enable. That's saved and should be good to go. And what I can see back in the client's portal Is that great? In addition to this service request tab, they also have this nice little technical support tab where they can submit their requests to our team, and they're automatically notified and updated as we take care of those things for them. So that's really the highlights of, kind of the major features and functionality we've released over the past few weeks. I'll hang out here for a couple minutes. If there's anybody who has questions, I would love to answer them, show you around Motion.io, show you anything you might be wanting to do but haven't already. What is that? Do you have questions about Zapier? Do you want to know things about automations or additional portal customizations? Some of the things that we've gotten questions about recently are things along the lines of, hey, can I embed XYZ in a portal, or should I embed this app in a task versus a portal tab? Let me know. I'm happy to hang out here and answer any other questions you might have. Really, I'm here for you. I want you to get as much value as you possibly can out of the platform we built. So in our last couple minutes here, don't be shy. Write in and we can go over anything you'd like together. In the meantime, I did want to talk a little bit about kind of what we envision for the future of the forms in the portal tabs, because there's going to be some really cool things that we're going to be able to do in the future with these, and things that we've ideated on. There's no timeline for them, but we've even envisioned that in the future, you'll be able to use these portal forms that I was showing you just a second ago. You'll even be able to set up automations from these to do things like, have additional tasks activated once these are complete. We also have plans to do invoicing and payments. I don't know when that's coming, but it is something on our roadmap that we're working to prioritize right now. So in the future, a customer submits a form like this, you can actually send them an invoice and bill them for that work if you'd like to. So this is V1. If you haven't tried it out yet, I would really encourage you to. It's a feature that we know and we've heard really great things thus far from our users. If you have questions about it, if you want to know, hey, would this be a good fit for this type of thing or this type of process in my business? As always, you can go ahead and send us an email at hello@motion.io. That goes to our support desk and the great folks who work in it every day, which does include myself oftentimes as well. If you submitted a ticket in the past, you'll know I'm in there as well. So I'm always happy to respond to your questions and help you out with anything that you might need. So I don't see any additional questions coming in for now. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up today, but thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks for the questions that you've asked. And as always, I will see you next week, same time, same channel, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time every single Friday. Take care, everybody, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.